Have you ever wondered? Hello everyone, welcome back to Inquisitive Creation. My name is Gilo, and I will be your trusted companion to explain things you ever wondered about but does not exactly know what they are. Today, we're delving into a topic that's been stirring up quite the debate in health circles. Are pickled and fermented foods carcinogenic? Pickled and fermented foods have been a staple in many cultures for centuries, celebrated for their unique flavors and purported health benefits. But recently, whispers about potential carcinogenic properties have emerged, casting doubt on their once-in-question status as a health food. Join me as we embark on a journey to uncover the truth behind the fermenting controversy. First off, pickled and fermented foods are not the same. Pickling is a preservation method that involves submerging food items in an acidic solution, such as vinegar or brine, to prevent spoilage. Unlike fermentation, pickling does not involve microbial activity to produce acids. Instead, the acidity in pickled foods primarily comes from the vinegar or other acidic solutions used in the pickling process. Pickling typically occurs in an acidic environment, which inhibits the growth of harmful bacteria and molds. Examples of pickled foods include pickles, pickled onions, pickled peppers, and pickled eggs. Fermentation, on the other hand, is a natural process that involves the breakdown of sugars by microorganisms like bacteria, yeast, or fungi. This process produces compounds such as alcohol, lactic acid, or acetic acid, which act as preservatives and give fermented foods their characteristic tangy flavor. Fermentation occurs in an anaerobic or without oxygen environment, typically submerged in a brine solution or packed tightly in a container to exclude oxygen. Examples of fermented foods include kimchi, sauerkraut, yogurt, kefir, kombucha, miso, and tempeh. Now, to answer the question, does your plate of sauerkraut or pickles come with a side of cancer? The answer is yes and no, so let me explain. Salted foods such as pickled and fermented vegetables and fish are considered to increase the risk of stomach cancer with some caveats. As with anything, the dose and context make the poison, not that these foods are poisonous. Studies on foods preserved by salting were all done in Asia, where salted foods are eaten in high amounts daily by many people. A significant increase of 9% higher stomach cancer risk. But not death from stomach cancer was seen for every 20 grams of vegetables preserved heavily in salt and eaten daily. The studies also showed a probable increase in stomach cancer rates for fish preserved Cantonese style, a specific way of preserving raw fish that is dried in the sun. This salted and drying method is part of a traditional way of eating for people in southern China. The rates of stomach cancer are certainly higher in Asia and Eastern Europe. The highest rates of stomach cancer in the world are found in Korea, followed by Mongolia and Japan. China has the 6th highest rate of stomach cancer in the world. So, there may be other factors at work, or what researchers call confounding factors, which lead to an increased rate of cancer. We will return to the confounding factors, but it's important to note that North America and Africa have the lowest rates of stomach cancer in the world. North Americans and Africans have come a long way from stomach cancer being the top cause of cancer death as it was in the late 1930s. In the past decade, the number of new cases has declined by 2.5% every year in the United States. Stomach cancer affects more people over 65 years old. 6 out of every 10 people diagnosed are 65 or older. For most cancers, the highest risk factor is age, apart from smoking. The confounding factors for which stomach cancer may be higher in certain countries include the fact that the studies did not adjust for the bacterium Helicobacter pylori. Helicobacter pylori is a type of bacteria that infects the stomach lining. It is one of the most common bacterial infections worldwide, affecting millions of people. Helicobacter pylori infection usually occurs during childhood and can persist throughout life if left untreated. It is primarily transmitted through oral or fecal-oral routes, such as through contaminated food, water, or close contact with an infected person. Helicobacter pylori infection can lead to various gastrointestinal conditions, including gastritis or inflammation of the stomach lining, peptic ulcers, or open sores in the lining of the stomach, or the upper part of the small intestine, and in some cases, stomach cancer. However, not everyone infected with Helicobacter pylori will develop these conditions. Helicobacter pylori is now treated effectively in the United States with antibiotics. It is typically treated with a combination of antibiotics and acid-suppressing medications, known as triple therapy or quadruple therapy, to eradicate the bacteria and reduce inflammation in the stomach lining. Now, why would highly salted and preserved foods cause stomach cancer, and how can it be related to Helicobacter pylori? Surprisingly, it may not be directly related to salt intake, as previously thought. Fermented foods produce nitrosamines and biogenic amines that may interact with the Helicobacter pylori infection to cause cancer. Nitrosamines are known carcinogens themselves that can potentially increase cancer risk. Biogenic amines, while not inherently carcinogenic, have been associated with adverse health effects in high concentrations. These compounds can occur naturally in foods or be formed during fermentation. While there is evidence to suggest that both nitrosamines and biogenic amines individually contribute to gastric carcinogenesis, their potential interaction with Helicobacter pylori in promoting cancer development is less clear. Some researchers have proposed that Helicobacter pylori infection may enhance the effects of nitrosamines and biogenic amines by promoting inflammation, disrupting the gastric mucosal barrier, and altering the gastric microbiota. It has been hypothesized that Helicobacter pylori may increase the susceptibility of gastric epithelial cells to the carcinogenic effects of nitrosamines and biogenic amines through mechanisms such as DNA damage, impaired DNA repair, and dysregulation of cell proliferation and apoptosis pathways. Clinical studies investigating the combined effects of nitrosamines, biogenic amines, and Helicobacter pylori infection on cancer risk are limited and have produced conflicting results. Some studies have reported synergistic interactions between Helicobacter pylori infection and dietary factors such as nitrosamines and biogenic amines in promoting gastric carcinogenesis, while others have found no significant association. Therefore, further research is needed to elucidate the potential interactions between these factors and their combined effects on cancer risk. Understanding these interactions may help inform preventive strategies and therapeutic interventions for gastric cancer. Meanwhile, many fermented foods, such as yogurt and kefir, are rich in beneficial probiotics, which have also been shown to have anti-cancer properties. In addition, they also contain essential vitamins, minerals, and enzymes that aid in digestion and nutrient absorption. Furthermore, fermented foods have been associated with reduced inflammation, improved mental health, and even weight loss. Overall, the consensus among experts is that it is safe for the public to consume fermented foods in moderation as part of a balanced diet. While the evidence linking them to cancer is inconclusive, it's crucial to prioritize overall dietary diversity and minimize exposure to potential carcinogens. So, what's the verdict on fermented foods? While the debate rages on, one thing is clear: moderation is key. Incorporating a variety of fermented foods into your diet can be a delicious and nutritious way to support your overall health and well-being. However, it's essential to listen to your body and consult with a healthcare professional if you have any concerns or underlying health conditions. Thank you for joining me on this enlightening journey through the world of fermented foods. Remember, the truth may be complex, but with an open mind and a discerning palate, we can separate fact from fiction. Until next time, happy pickling and fermenting. This is your friend Gilo, signing off from Inquisitive Creation. Thank you so much for watching.